Welcome to the Middle Room Workshop. Today I'm going to show you how to connect an RJ45 Ethernet connector to an Ethernet cable. Without further ado, let's get into it. For the project you will need a bunch of Ethernet connectors, an Ethernet cable, and a crimping tool. Optionally, you might also need a clipper in case your crimping tool doesn't come with the cutter built in, a small flathead screwdriver, small marker, a network cable tester, and then some measuring ruler or tape. Okay, what I'm about to show you will basically work regardless of the class of Ethernet connectors and cable that you are planning on working with. The major difference only is with the CAT6. The major physical difference is that the connector will come into two components. It is because CAT6, which enables for faster transmission speeds, basically has thicker cables. So the thicker cable make it so that you are not able to lay anymore flat all of the cables side by side. So for this reason they came up with this small adapter which will basically overlap 4 cable on a bottom tier and 4 cable on a top tier. Other than that, the principle and the crimping tool will be exactly the same for CAT5, CAT5e and CAT6, which are right now the most common Ethernet cable connector, Ethernet systems. Alright. So the first thing you want to do is, if you are planning on having a precise length to measure your Ethernet cable and to have some spare length on it, usually I prefer doing 2 to 4 centimeter at each end. The reason for that is because we are going to cut the cable a little bit longer so that it will be easier to work with, and also in case we have a faulty connection we must have room for cutting it and to redo an additional connection. I will now cut a random length of it. And for this you can use a simple clipper or the cutting tool that come into your crimping tool. Okay, I will just cut a small piece. So the first thing you want to do is to remove the outer insulation which contains the cable. And to do that you can use the built-in cutter here, which will allow you only to touch the outer insulation. Now, if you are working with the flat Ethernet cable, as you can see here, you can see here the two blades are coming very close together. This is for flat ones. I don't have one here to show you. I have something that is not an Ethernet cable. I guess it's from telephone, but that's to give you an idea. I'm sure that you've seen it around. Basically, all the cables making this cable are laid flat inside next to one another. So in our example I'm going to show you a classic rounded cable. Now what you want to do, so as you can see on this side I have the cutter. This is basically cutting the whole volume. Instead, over on this side I have what will help us to remove the insulation. So what you want to do, cable round, so use the appropriate side. Normally the thickness of the crimping tool it's enough for you to to work with, but I found that with this particular stripping tool it's gonna be a little bit too tight then to rearrange the cable inside. So what I want to do is to keep like 5 millimeter outwards. See, he's protruding now about 5 millimeter. Once you're ready, you squeeze firmly, and then you can rotate the cable or the crimping tool, whichever it's easier in your instance, and what this will do will basically apply a neat cut all the way around, so you can then snap it by bending the cable and it comes loose. Okay, then you can remove this insulation. You can just open it up and leave it on like this, exactly the way I'm showing you. So if you're planning on using one of those protectors, now in my case I could insert it from the other side once I'm ready with one side, but it's good practice obviously to get it in beforehand. Okay, and now you can work freely with it. Now what you want to do, all the cables, there are 8 cables inside and they are all twisted in pairs, so you want to untwist them. You can try to wiggle a little bit to straighten up like this. Okay, and as you can see now they are pretty much all straightened up. Okay, now once you're done with it, you will need to rearrange them flat so that you can then insert them in the connector. So I have here on my phone a small picture which I will put then on the screen. And so what we are looking at here, it's basically the connector laid facing you from the flat side. That means from the side without the securing pin. Okay, so that's how we are going to work it out. So now we can have a look. So you will need to start with the white with green with orange straps. Now depending on the maker of your Ethernet cable, it might, the strap is so tiny that you will barely see it. There you go, there is a very tiny strap. I don't know if the camera can render it, and you will start holding it between your index and thumb, okay, like this. Then you will need the orange, so locate the orange one and lay it next to it in this order. After that you will need the white with the green, if you can see it, so like this. And then you will need the blue, so take it and lay it flat. Then you will need the white with blue straps, and this is the strap in this cable. It's very hard to see. I mean, sometimes you will be wondering what the color is in there. Okay, and then I'm still looking at my picture for reference, and then you will have the green, full green, then white with brown, this is the last one for exclusion, and the brown one. Okay, so just ensure yourself that they are all correctly placed, and once you're done with it, see that they are a little bit, you know, not very straight, so grab them with both hands, with index and thumb, and try to wiggle a little bit so that they can straighten up a little bit. Try to pass it over to your other hands without shuffling them around. Okay, and what you want to do is, as you can see, they are not in the same line, so you want to trim them off just to be all equal, all flat. To do so, you can use the cutter in the crimping tool on this side, as you can see. So you will insert it. You just need to remove very small length, like 1 millimeter or less if you can. So now they are all tied up. Now you want to get, if you had CAT5 or CAT5e, most likely you had to insert them inside, but in our case we have this small connector over here. So you want to place the connector with the grooves. There will be grooves in it. Okay, so one side is flat, you can touch it and you can feel that it's flat. The other side you will feel with your nail that there are grooves. So from the groove side you want to insert them. The beginning of this small helping piece of plastic, it's conic, so it will help you to guide them all inside, as you can see. I'll put this out of the way for now. So let them be flat. Now the groove face with a flat side, or the side of the pins, and you can insert it inside. Now, the reason why I've asked you to have handy one small flathead screwdriver is because sometimes some of the pins are slightly, I don't know if I can show you this with the camera, they're slightly inward, and they will prevent the small plastic inside to get in, so you can basically help yourself with a small screwdriver to push it all the way in, so that now everything is flat. And once you're done with it, you can get your crimping tool. As you can see, this is my 8 poles. You can it's like a normal Ethernet connection there, like the one that you will find in your computer. So just put it in. Try to keep pressure in it, don't get it loose. And now from this side you can see that when I'm squeezing, all the pins went through, and now they are basically catching on the cables. Okay, then remove the securing pin, remove this. Now you can take your small protection over here. Okay, and you are good to go. You will repeat the same on the other hand of the cable. Once you are done, I have prepared one in advance. So once you are done, I will highly recommend you having one of those network testers around, because it will be very helpful to, to ensure yourself that the connection is good before to plug it in. Avoid having you down troubleshooting your system afterwards. So the way these devices work is basically it's detachable in 2 pieces. That's because obviously one hand can be a few rooms away from the location of, let's say, your switch, or I don't know, network route or whatever. So you will connect one hand to the appropriate connector. Some of them comes with multiple connectors, so locate the correct one, and then to the mother connector. This is basically the power supply. Here there is no power, so that's providing power there. And once you power it up, as you can see now, all the pairs are blinking green, which means that all it's correct. Okay, if you were having one that is not correctly connected, you will see some green, some red coming up. As you can see, it's simple. It's just a matter of following a small diagram just to lay correctly the 8 cables inside, and then you will need a crimping tool. Eventually you could go around also in another way if you don't want to buy a crimping tool, and if you want to see how to do that without a crimping tool, put them some comment below so that I can prepare a video for you guys. And yeah, that's pretty much all. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you liked it, click the thumb up button below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Ciao for now!